Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you this gospel. The gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Every single day, y'all. That is how we're doing. That is how we roll. That is why we are the best Gamecock podcast across the land. Better than everybody else. We better. I just got to say that we're just better than everybody else. So, I mean, it ain't bragging. It is what it is. It is what it is. Because you're not rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. We are talking about the three-time South Carolina Gamecock women's basketball program. And when we're talking about the three-time South Carolina women's basketball program, we have to discuss this transfer portal. We have to talk about it. Transfer portal is lights out. It is crazy. It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like every hour somebody's into the portal. A new person has entered the portal and started a do not contact because they already know where they're going to go. If they don't know where they're going to go, they're already limited to their choices to where they think they're going to go. So it's not a recruiting tool. Because they say, yo, I am going to put my name in the portal. Don't contact me. Don't even try to send a private plane out here. Don't send me some gifts and pick me up in a white Mercedes. Don't do any of those things. I don't want none of that because I already know where I'm going. So it's sometimes a little peculiar, but this is the level of basketball that we're doing now. The transfer portal is off the chain. You have so many players, and not only just so many players, the quantity of players, but you have quality basketball players who are entering the portal. Now, we talked about this yesterday about players who I think would fit the mold of South Carolina, the culture of South Carolina, with and these are the players that already entered the portal, and I just see them kind of being a potential Gamecock. Until last night. Last night, got a DM, got a text, and talking about a certain player, Kiki Iriafen. Stanford Cardinal, one of the best players in the country, entered the transfer portal. And she, of course, did a do not contact. Now Stanford, they lost their legendary coach, retired. Stanford's going to the ACC. Cameron Brink going to the W, be drafted on Monday. But Kiki is an excellent basketball player who models her game somewhat a la Aja Wilson. She's not as tall as Aja. Aja 6'5", Kiki about 6'3" and a change. But she's a 6'3" forward. She's from LA. She's gonna be a rising senior. She is she's a former 4-star recruit. She was 19th overall in the 2021 recruiting class. That recruiting class, as you know, had Raven Johnson, who was number 2 overall recruit. Sania Rivers, number 3 overall recruit. Sania Feagin, number 4 overall recruit. And Bree Hall, who's a 14th overall recruit. So that recruiting class was very generous. This was number 1 ranked recruiting class in class 2021. Was very generous to South Carolina. It got us a championship. Okay, got us a championship. But Kiki was a part of that recruiting class and was a great player going into Stanford. And she had an awesome year this year. She had a great year. When you get 19 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, shooting 55% from the field on 15 attempts and 78% from the free throw line, that means you're a baller. Now, she played for a top 10 ranked team who went far in the tournament. And Stanford, over the course of the season, I thought would be a potential stumbling block for the South Carolina Gamecocks, but we didn't get the opportunity to play Stanford as they lost early. I should say lost already. They lost before they had opportunity to play us. But having Kiki in the transfer portal means a lot. It could change the trajectory of a basketball program a team that is on the rise. She can come in and for sure be the star on a team on the rise. She can be a second fiddle to a team that already has great players, much like it was with Stanford. Or she can go to a team that is full of great players and be a piece to the puzzle to another championship. So many different ways that this can go for Kiki. So many different ways. So the question is asked, how would she fit? How would she gel if she chose South Carolina? How would she gel with South Carolina? Well, if Kiki was offered a scholarship at the University of South Carolina, and when because we always got to say that with a caveat. If she's offered a scholarship at the University of South Carolina, because we're kind of full at the end at the power forward position, but if she's offered a position, offered a role, offered a scholarship to come to USC, then she would immediately be the best power forward we have on the roster. She would. And there's no disrespect or no shade or anything of that nature. Kiki is going to be a top 5 pick in the WNBA draft next year. She is. She will be a top 5 pick in the WNBA draft next year, regardless of what team she goes to. Now, if she was to choose South Carolina, she slide into the power forward position, then you can have an option of moving Watkins over to the center position. Or you have different moves that you can do. You have various different scenarios. The cool thing about Kiki is she's not a defensive liability like other players in the portal at her position or at her size. She has a defensive rating of 83.2. That is a good defensive rating. It's not a defensive rating a la Ashlyn Watkins, whose defensive rating was about 67, 68 for the season. It's not a defensive rating that is as good as Chloe Kitts, whose defensive rating was in the mid-70s. Not as good as Sania Feagin, whose defensive rating was in the mid-70s. So I say that her defensive rating is good, but it's not on the level of South Carolina Gamecocks. But her offensive skill is a notch better than Watkins. Her offensive skills are a notch better than Chloe, and I believe her offensive skills is a notch better than Sania Feagin. It's been proven that she can score the basketball at a high clip in high pressure moments. But we all know that in order to get substantial playing time for Dawn Staley, you have to play defense. And again, her defense is good. It's just not great. It's not on the level yet. For South Carolina standards. But despite all that, if she was to come to South Carolina, she'd be the starting power forward. Now, if she's a starting power forward, what would that mean for this basketball team? Would that mean that someone would transfer? Because we already got a crowd of position. You got Joyce Edwards coming in, number 2 ranked overall recruit in the class of 2024, who's joining the fray. You got Adele Tack, 6'5", center from Texas, will be joining the fray. So we have an abundance of players that are already ready or already locked in for playing time next season. So if you have a player like Kiki who will be showing up, and you're talking about getting 25, 28 minutes a game, would that mean that somebody would move? The easy answer is yes. The easy answer is yes. She shows up, somebody's going to go out. That's the easy answer. Not enough minutes for these various different players. So another player is going to leave the fray and move on to another team to get playing time and possibly challenge for the championship. Camila Cardoza will be drafted Monday. She played about 26 minutes a game. So you have some minutes in the kitty to divvy out amongst these players, but Kiki ain't playing center. But if you have a situation where Ashlyn Watkins slides over the center instead of power forward, and you're starting Ashlyn Watkins and Kiki, have Sania Feagin being coming off the bench, and Chloe coming off the bench, and Joyce Edwards coming off the bench, is that enough minutes to disperse amongst those players without someone entering the portal? I don't think so. I just don't believe there would be enough minutes. And I didn't even mention Adele Tack. I didn't mention her. It's just, I don't believe there would be enough minutes. Somebody have to leave. But with that being said, if Kiki was to join the South Carolina Gamecocks, this is an undefeated season, which I already think we're going to go win a championship next year. But I don't know if we're going to go undefeated next year. But I say this right here. If Kiki was to join Raven Johnson, Tina Pow, Bree Hall, Ashlyn Watkins, Sania Feagin, all these different players that South Carolina has, Joyce Edwards, Adele Tack, Tessa Johnson, all these players, MiLaysia Fulwiley, this team will go undefeated once again. And then we go have those conversations that this South Carolina team is in a dynasty, and we are in the midst of being a four-time national champion instead of three-time national champion. But with all that being said, Kiki ain't coming to South Carolina. She ain't coming to South Carolina. She is not entered the transfer portal to compete for minutes. She is not entered the transfer portal to leave LA to go to the University of South Carolina in Columbia. She's not entering the portal for that. Most likely, she'll be joining that other USC and joining Juju Watkins in their number 1 ranked recruiting class. That's the best case scenario for Kiki. And honestly, this be real. I just have to keep it real for all my folks and all my fams. We don't need no Kiki. I just got to say that. South Carolina doesn't need Kiki Iriafen over on this side of the map at the University of South Carolina. We don't need no player. I just have to say that. South Carolina don't need nobody from the transfer portal. As it's constructed right now with our roster, we don't need anyone. Other players can go to other schools. They can dip it and do it and go here and go there, go to UConn, because that's what I'm hearing about Reagan Beers going to UConn. They can talk about that. They can talk about Kiki going to Southern Cal. We can discuss that. I don't know what LSU is going to do in the transfer portal. They'll get a player or two to supplement their roster because they got several spots open. But in terms of South Carolina, as it's constructed today on April the 13th, does not need a player from the transfer portal. We are the champions. We return 4 starters, 8 McDonald's All-Americans. Joyce will be showing up. Maddie will be showing up. Adele will be showing up. We don't need that. Run it back with the roster that we have, with the culture that we have, with the team that we have, with the love that we have. Run it back one more time. Now, if there's a scenario where a player leaves South Carolina, enters the transfer portal, then we can revisit this and have a different conversation. If a guard, forward, or center were to leave South Carolina, then we can dip into the transfer portal and bring in a veteran type player to get minutes. But until that happens, regardless of the rumors that I'm hearing about, we are fine sitting pat and watching other teams get a player here. Virginia Tech brought their whole squad over to Kentucky following their coach. I'm not concerned about what other teams do in the portal. I'm really not. I'm not concerned. Because some of these players tag team and say we're going to try to build a super team to beat the University of South Carolina. It's possible. I haven't seen it yet. And I saw this on Twitter earlier. I was like, okay, I can't remember the person or the organization that made it, but it's talking about, if Kiki joined Southern Cal. Kiki joined Southern Cal to go along with Juju and the number one recruiting class. They got 5 players coming in from this recruiting class. They would not only do what South Carolina did this season, but would do it better. And I say this right here. There are levels to greatness. There are levels to greatness. Juju Watkins is a really good player. Kiki's a really good player. And you got some solid recruits coming in, freshmen coming in. Number 1 ranked recruiting class. And I say that because got Carolina being the number 3 ranked recruiting class and UConn being number 2 ranked recruiting class. And I say that more so because of volume. Now, they do have 3 5-star recruits who are coming in to Southern California. South Carolina does as well. Okay. We don't have 2 additional 4-star recruits because Carolina don't need it. Is that the way I would say it? Because the way our roster is constructed right now is real talk is unheard of. It's unseen. It's never been done before. You can Google it. Look it up. Well, the way our roster is constructed right now, we would have the whole roster from 1 to 11, 12. Everyone would be 5-star recruits. Everyone on our roster, on our team would be 5-star recruits. You talk about the returning starting 4. Raven, Powell, Bree, Watkins. All 5-star recruits. All, McDonald's All-Americans. All. And then you say we're going to start Feagin at the center position. McDonald's All-American 5-star recruit. That's 5 right there, okay? You move on to Fulwiley. Tessa. Chloe. All 5-star recruits. All McDonald's All-Americans. I'm talking about Chloe Kiss as well because she would have been a McDonald's All-American. She's 17th in the country, but she decided to join this dream team. I shouldn't say dream team. I'm saying dream team. I am going to say dream team. LSU used that mess before. It didn't work out for them, But I'm saying, I ain't going to say dream team. I'm saying the best team that South Carolina's ever had. So now we have 8 5-star recruits, 8 McDonald's All-Americans, okay? To go along with Joyce, Maddie, Adele. Additional 5-star recruits. That's 11. That's 11, right? I'm not counting Sakima. I don't know what she's going to do at this point. But correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let a brother know. Because I think that that's the only time that a roster has been assembled with all 5-star recruits. And Adele Tack would have been a McDonald's All-American. Again, she falls in the same scenario that Chloe did. She would have been a McDonald's All-American. Come on. I don't think there's ever been a roster assembled like the roster we're going to have in the 2024-2025 season, if everything stands pat. So back to Southern Cal, talking about they're gonna do the same thing we've done, except they're better, blah, blah, blah. Southern Cal is a growing university in terms of going back to the championship level they were back a long time ago, right? But there's levels. There's levels to this. And I'm encouraged. I like the trajectory of what they're doing. But first, you got to make a Final Four, too. That's the first thing you have to do. Make a Final Four, too, and then we'll be in somewhat of a conversation, win a championship or two, in a conversation, because Carolina's won the last 2 out of the last 3 championships. Could have been 3 for 3. Can't wait to see if we play them. I've heard rumors that it's going to be a West Coast swing next season. And I would love our USC to play their version of USC out in LA. I would love that. Cap Will couldn't wait to go to LA. That would be amazing. Love LA. I want to see the Kobe statue anyway. I want to see that. Possibly play at Stanford or a UCLA. That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful for South Carolina. It'd be wonderful for new fans. It'd be wonderful for the West Coast to see the best team in the country playing against their squad. That'd be awesome. But Southern Cal, y'all gotta win a little bit more to get to that level. Because you're talking about getting to the final level to go against the final boss, and that's South Carolina. You got to get past a few more teams in order to get to the final boss, and y'all ain't there yet. Y'all ain't there yet. Because you got a number 1 recruiting class. South Carolina got a number 3 recruiting class. So not like we behind y'all in terms of star power or talent or anything like that. Nah, that ain't happening. They ain't happening. So Kiki, Reagan, Grace, Talia Scott, Deja Kelly, all these players that are in the portal right now, looking for their best deal, looking for their best situation. That is awesome. That is wonderful. That is great. But y'all are still trying to get to where South Carolina is. Reagan Beers to UConn would be great. UConn, now they do have a couple players who enter the portal, losing a couple players to the WNBA draft, but they're going to have a really good squad next year. And Reagan Beers will add to that. And it's going to be amazing when we go to UConn next season. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to see it. Never been to UConn. Would love to go. But all these teams, I think, are trying to gear up to compete against South Carolina. Because I think these teams are starting to realize that you need more than individual talent. You need team talent in order to compete with South Carolina. I think they're starting to realize that. But y'all not South Carolina. You're not South Carolina. Keep trying. Keep working hard. Keep recruiting hard. Dip into the transfer portal. So you compete against a three-time national champion. This includes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like it. Make sure you share it. Make sure you subscribe to it. Because you're not rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. We don't need nobody. We are good where we are. Let's go. Let's go. Let's